So hey, what better to do on a Saturday night than head out to the mountains? Supposedly tonight is going to be one of those nights where there's some astrological event where like 6 planets are going to line up. So I'm headed up the beginning part. Actually, it's probably the whole Gateway to Seven Springs trail, but then there's a trail off to the left that actually takes you on a little trail called Cramm Mt Loop, and it takes you to a pretty high elevation. I think we're going to be around 3,800 feet, so that should be pretty awesome if the weather agrees. Right now we've got kind of mostly cloudy, partly cloudy, but after 6 p.m. it's supposed to clear up. At 5:50 or something like that, it's supposed to be sunset. So if that works out and the timing works out, that will be awesome. So let's see how it works out. I'm not going to shoot any trail footage until we get up near where the actual trail is, because the first part of it, it's not really worth filming. It's kind of a little bit of dirt roads and then pavement, then dirt and then pavement again. But once we get on the trail, I'm going to turn on the camera and we'll get some good footage of the trail going up there, because there's a few little technical sections, but it's a lot of fun. I've been up there 2 times and I really enjoyed myself both times. So on our way out here to above Cave Creek to the Gateway to Seven Springs, there's this little Sears K ruin, and it's a real short little thing here, this little trail. So we're gonna go up here, and I think it's paved the whole way. So I don't know that I'm gonna shoot video on it, but if there's something to see, I'm gonna share it for sure. So we're learning some stuff here. Evidently this Sears K ruin is a pretty serious thing. There's like old settlement and like these old villages. Look, check this out.
Look, get 'em.
There's this, and then there's some other ruins too. There's like a whole site. There's like a bunch of stuff happening here. Pretty interesting. We just pulled over. We're just gonna hike to the top and see what happens. So when we get there, you know, the beginning of the trail is kind of over here, and then we're just going to kind of hike up. You know, we don't know how far it is, so I'm not going to film the whole hike and everything, but you know, when we get up there, whatever there is to see, I'm going to share it. So I am going to film a little bit of this trail because it's pretty cool. It kind of winds around. It's like this windy little trail. Whenever I go on stuff like this, I think, man, people used to live here. Like, they made a life for themselves out here. I mean, look at this vast landscape. It's incredible. So we're going to continue on in this little windy footpath, and then when we get to some of the settlements and stuff, I'll show you some more video of it. So here's a little bit of ruins. We're not all the way at the end of the hike, but I guess these are dispersed throughout. But pretty cool. I'll tell you what, if I was stuck up here and it was late, I'd huddle down right in that corner right there and take shelter, because you know, there's a couple different dwellings here. This is pretty awesome. I mean, you know, this gives you a little idea of the size of it. You know, these ancient dwellings, they were very modest. They were not very big. So it was typically one room, and the whole family was, you know, shared that room. So we're going to continue on up to that area up there and see what else there is to see. So we made it to the top of the little climb, which was not terrible, but definitely wasn't expecting to do that, you know, right away. But while we were driving out up the Gateway Trail, but check some of this stuff out. These are cool. I mean, super cool. And there was little remnants of ones all up through the trail as we were coming up. Some were in a little bit better shape than others, but super, super cool. And then down over this part of the rocks, I don't know, maybe we can see it, but there was these crazy, yeah, check this out. Check out that rock formation. Is that crazy? It's just balancing right there. Like, and there's another set over here too. It's just wild. This is a wild place. Really, really enjoying this little side trip experience. This sort of happened organically as we were driving up here. And I mean, you got the mountains. No wonder people wanted to settle here, right? I mean, look at I'm in awe of this place. I truly am. Attempting to film while not falling, but you can see down in through all these grasslands the remnants of some of these structures. So I think that's so cool. You know, the really preserved ones are the ones that we saw up top, but they're all up and down this hillside everywhere. It is a very cool place. So most of Gateway to Seven Springs is this kind of like rugged washboard road, and it's like not that big of a deal. Like, you can do this in anything. You can do this in a minivan if you needed to, right? I mean, it'd probably rough up the suspension a little bit, but as far as clearance or anything like that, you don't need any of that stuff. Really, how we use it is as an access point to some of these other trails that we like to go to. And by the way, that there's Sears K. Was it Sears K or K Sears? Sears K. Sears K ruins was super duper cool. Like, we only live about 30 minutes from there, and we're going back. Like, we didn't have much time because we're trying to at least kind of get onto some of the more technical off-roading, you know, before the sun's down, and then we'll kind of come back in the dark. But you know, this is how Gateway to Seven Springs is. It's pretty much just this. There's a little bit past the Tonto National Forest campgrounds, and I'll start filming a little bit more when I get to that part of it. But it's a lot of this, so I just didn't feel like filming, you know, 15 minutes of this, right? And but it is beautiful out here, you know. I mean, besides, if you can, you know, turn away from the power lines, the rest of it is pretty magnificent. There's a lot of cactus and all kinds of wildlife. We just had a bunny run across the street, so that was kind of cool. But I'll film a little bit more when we get to like official dirt, right? Like, this is kind of gravelled in, so I'll come back in a little bit. This part's cool. So we're back on pavement, but then there's actually a legit wash here. This is kind of cool. Not difficult because it's all concrete, but still fun. I mean, you know, I feel like getting it wet a little bit and stuff like that. And we're in Tonto National Forest. This is the recreation area, so, which is cool. All right, so this is our little turnoff to go on to Cramm Mountain Loop. So we're gonna come down in through here. By the way, up to this point, I've just been in two-wheel drive. Like, you don't even need four-wheel drive now. I'm in 4-low. I like off-road plus a lot. Sway bar disconnect, which I found if you just do the sway bar disconnect and drive forward a little bit, it just sort of does its thing. Mostly. Yeah, there we go. And I like 4-low, and here I'll tell you why. Because I use the manual shift mode on the automatic for the Jeep, and I'll kind of go into that one time, like specifically how I do that. But you know, my first off-road vehicle was a manual. It was actually a Suzuki Samurai 1987 limited edition, and it was manual. And so I like that. I love automatic transmission for most things, but even like a lot of rock crawlers and stuff, they set their rigs up with like automatic shift transmission. So they're shifting every gear. They're just not using that third pedal like on an actual manual to do what they got to do. So that's kind of what I do with this, except for I just manually shift it. I think it's a great option on the newer Jeeps where you can do all that stuff. And by the way, this trail is pretty much, you can do this trail in a stock Jeep. I mean, the, you know, ones with small tires, everything. It's just not, it's fun. It's got some little challenges here and there, but you know, if you're looking here, you know, you want to watch out for that little hole right there a little bit. And I just drive straight past it a little bit so that my back tires are lined up before I cut the wheel. Pretty simple. It's hard. It is hard shifting and holding a camera though. So when you slow down in 4 low, you know, it goes down in your gears and stuff. And when I'm two-hand driving, it's just a little bit easier, but kind of one-handing it, and that's all right. But this is fun, but this is still, I mean, you can see some of the shadows on this stuff. It's a little bumpy, but you know, you could totally do it in a stock vehicle. And you know, I think if one thing I'd like to convey is that, you know, even if you got a stock vehicle, it just doesn't have to be built up like all these, you know, big bad machines. I mean, if you want to do that, or if you've already done that, that's awesome, because I love that stuff. But you can do a lot with just a stock vehicle. Here we go. This is fun. So this is something, you don't want to hit this thing too fast, right? I'm going to go nice and easy. That way, because when your shocks compress, you know, it compromises everything, like your bumper height, your breakover angle and stuff like that. I mean, that's a dip down, so you don't have to really worry too much about your breakover angle, but digging your front bumper in and stuff could be an issue. Here's another one of those dips, and all you really got to do is just slow it down, take it nice and easy. That's it, and carry on, because we love being off-road. We're about to see some cool stuff once we get up in this little bit higher elevation. I mean, you can kind of start seeing some of that sunset. It's a little bit past sunset because we stopped on our little detour, another little dip. Just nice and easy. Done. Shift a couple gears because I'm in manual automatic mode, which I like very much. I've been here during the day and seen a bunch of cows at that watering hole. They just kind of look at you like, dude, why are you bothering me? This isn't a very wide trail. It'd be tricky to have to pass somebody on it, but it's doable. People are pretty nice on the trail, you know. They know if it's a tight situation, you just sort of, you know, everybody stops and you sort of figure it out and make do with each other. One of the other reasons I like using 4 low in that manual mode is I can do engine braking. Like right now I'm riding my brakes because I can only drive with one hand. But typically what I'll do, and also here, if you're in a stock Jeep, I just get skinny over here to the right and sort of straddle this hole so that I'm not dragging my differential on a hump, you know, with one tire in a rut. And then I'll just come on over right here. Yeah, so one of the reasons why I really like the manual shift in 4 low is on a downhill, I could put it in like 4, you know, second gear, and engine braking will take care of most of my speed and stuff. And it's real handy, and it really helps your brakes because you can really heat your brakes up. All right, this is a tricky spot. Gets a little skinny. You got little stuff to the left and to the right. I'm gonna stay a little bit to the right and just kind of go nice and slow through here. Then you got a pretty big dip up here. So this is one, you know, you could still make this in a stock, you know, in a stock anything, right? I just go nice and slow, so I'm not digging my front or rear bumper into the ground. Done. Not a problem. I hope that the headlights are enough to make half decent video quality, because, you know, that can be a little iffy, you know. Yay, I'm glad this gate's open. It's always open. I've never seen it shut, but I'm sure there are times, maybe of the year or something, that they shut it, or maybe they get some fire activity back here, and it'd be nice to be able to close it off, you know, if they had to. But it's always been open every time I've been up here. Yeah, I got some people camping out over to the left. You know, they may be out to try to see this astronomical event. Supposedly like 6 planets are lining up, so we're gonna see what we can see. We still got a little cloud cover, so, but you know, it's like once in a lifetime stuff that's happening, right? So you either come out and give it a try or don't, you know. I'm sure somewhere in the world it's perfectly clear skies, but it's just not here right now. But it's supposed to be clearing up, you know, around this time of night, so we'll see what happens. But we're going, so that's that. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera off and then back on when I get up a little bit higher elevation. All right, we made it to the top. I had another action camera going, so I'm gonna do, you'll see some other footage, but I needed 2 hands for driving. But check this out. How beautiful is that? And we're gonna hang out here for a while and check out the planetary alignment thingy that's gonna happen. But check that out. I'm so glad the skies are kind of clearing up. And evidently, I don't know if it's visible, but right there is a star.
That's a planet.
Or planet.
Yep.
Sorry, planet. Correction.
So is that one? Or is that moving?
I think there's something else in the sky, but I think that might be moving. But we're gonna check back in a little bit later. And it may be we end up having to post some photos of the planets when we see them, but we'll see. But just absolutely breathtaking out here, you know. And we just took a chance, you know, and just came out here to see what we see. So it's all part of the adventure. Well, we've been out here for a little while and actually saw Saturn, Venus, and Neptune. We couldn't quite make out Neptune, but even with binoculars, like I don't have a microscope, I could see Saturn and Venus, but Neptune, I think if you had even like a decent microscope or whatever, you could see all 3 of them. But I just think that Neptune is a little bit dimmer. And then we saw Uranus, which was super bright. It's pretty cool. It's getting pretty chilly out here now. And I did want to show you on X. So this is where we're at now. We're at the end of this loop, and if it's possible, I'll share this this route build that I did. So we came up right here. We came up Gateway to Seven Springs, and then it kind of goes out to this Cramm Mountain loop. I recommend doing it. I think it's a super cool trail. We've come up here a couple of times, and it's just a place we're going to come back to because I couldn't really show out here, but there is so many like peaks and valleys and vistas, and I mean, you know, you saw the pictures of the sunset. I mean, wow, right? So this is an awesome trip, awesome trail. We're gonna get on the road and head back home now, and I'm just gonna put my head down and drive with both hands like I should, like a responsible person. Thanks for watching.